So, hello everybody. Today I'm going to do an unboxing, or rather an unbagging, of a game by Herman Lutman called Attack of the 50-Foot Colossi. Now, this was published by Tiny Battle. You can basically get this off their website either as a print and play, or you can buy the bagged version. The Invaders from Dimension X game was designed by the same person and also published by the same publisher, and as you know, I've got the print and play version of that game and I had a blast, and I'm also going to do a playthrough of the second scenario. In this case, I decided against getting the print and play version simply because this game, and I have nothing against print and play, comes with cards, and I find it really difficult to reproduce good print and play cards. This is why I got this as a non-print and play version, and I would like to draw your attention to this really beautiful piece of art. So again, this is a hex encounter war game which is set in the future, so it's completely agnostic with regard to culture or even enemies. You're fighting stone giants, which actually I find is a bit sad even, because they live on a planet that the humans are exploiting for its natural commodities. I don't really know, I haven't read the blurb yet, what they are drilling for, but basically they're exploiting the planet for its natural riches. And in a blast, as far as I can tell, some of these Colossi children, called Pebbles, those stone giants' children, get killed. And now the stone giants rise up from the earth and retaliate, which is actually a really sad story. These guys have killed the children of these creatures who, as far as I can tell from listening to somebody else's Geek Gamer's playthrough or preview or review of this game, they're not really hostile, but they do become hostile if you kill their young, and I guess we can all relate to this. So that's a bit of a sad story, really. Okay, so let's see what's in the box. Well, we've got these cards. So this is a one-player game, and it's designed to be played solo. And so this is essentially part of the AI. You have the Colossi order of action, and basically it tells you, in this case, tombstones go first, then the grey stones act, then the red stones act, then the yellow stones act, and the white stones. And a tiebreaker, lowest number hex, which of course would be explained if we read the rules, but since I'm really now unboxing this for the first time, I haven't read those. It comes with round about 100 counters, double-sided. So for somebody who's new to wargaming, this is a pretty good sized game, so it's not too overwhelming, but it's also not like one of the ones that is really, really small. The counters punch out really easily, as you can see here. The thickness is normal. It's been very, very hot here, so I think there's some warping. Because this being Ireland, while it's hot, it's always humid as well. So let's take a look at this. We have the event chit chart. So I assume, without having read the rules, that this plays quite like Dimension X, where you draw chits, and then these chits will do something, but you have to look up on the event chit chart what they actually do. And here you've got the mission critical charts and tables. So again, depending on what happens on your die rolls, different effects will take place. So marine recovery, disrupted. If you roll a 4 or less, nothing happens. But if you roll a 5 or 6, you flip the unit, stunned, no effect, you remove the marker, and so on and so forth. So again, you have the mechanic that you have chits for your units, and when something happens to them, they get reduced, or they get additional markers placed on top of the marine combat results. So again, you have the normal information there. So if you've ever played a war game before, this will be very easy for you. If you've never played a war game, I'm pretty sure if it's anything like Invaders from Dimension X, and I believe it is, it will be very easy to pick up. Next up, we have the rule book. Let's just pull this out. And I really like the idea of having 50-foot Colossi attack. So we're going to turn to the introduction and we're going to read from it. Mayday, mayday, mayday. If anyone can hear my voice, there has been a major underground explosion in the mine here on Graviton Prime. A group of colossal stone creatures tunneled up from deep beneath the surface and are wreaking havoc. The few remaining miners are panicking and we have no weapons that can damage these creatures. If anyone is out there, please, we need your help. Colby Manzo, Mine Boss. Attack of the 50-Foot Colossi is a solitaire game with a two-player option depicting the battles between the crack 124th Marine Raider Battalion, known as the Old Reprobate, so it's the same group essentially that fought against the invaders from Dimension X, and the Colossi tribes. A few weeks after defeating the Vermites on Beyond 3, which is the second game in this series of 3, the 124th was assigned to a little R&R while patrolling the surrounding region of space. While passing by an extremely violent and unstable little backwater planet named Graviton Prime, then being mined by the Interstellar Mining Corporation IMC, they received a sudden emergency deployment request, which they, of course, answered immediately, rested or not. Then it goes over the components, it explains the chits, so you have a full strength side and a reduced or disrupted defense side, so basically movement allowance, combat factor, how many dice do you roll, and what is your defense. And the disrupted side for the Marine squad is identical, except you have less of a combat factor, -1. You get information on the Colossi counters and how they work, and then there are other counters like here the gravel. You have civilians, I think you need to rescue them. There are markers like stun, so again this would be nothing out of the ordinary for an experienced wargamer, and for somebody who's new to this genre it would also not be a problem at all. I believe that they also have air interdiction, that they also have flying units. They tell you that you need dice, which don't come with the game, you have to get them yourselves. Okay, so this is a carrier, and it does remind me of the dropships of the Sulaku. So that's a reference. If anybody knows what I was talking about, say it in the comments, because most people don't get that reference. It also dates me, I guess. Then you have your combat example. How does it work? What kind of weapons do you have? The Chiseler, combat result, blah, blah, blah. So it's a really nice rulebook. It clocks in at 15 pages, including the designer notes and, of course, the historical references. Between a Rock and a Hard Place, My War Against the Colossi by Captain B.F. Pierce. Colossi Social Rituals by Professor R.T. Wagstaff. Stone Cold Crazy by Dwayne Johnson. Limestone Cowboy by Barney and Fred Hansen. Michelin Star Restaurants of Graviton Prime by Chef Oliver, and Shale Rock and Roll by Elvis Copperlight. I really like what they do with this, and of course the designer notes are really, really important to read. Attack of the 50-Foot Colossi is the third installment of the Invaders from Dimension X series. This entry continues along their original path laid out for the series, providing a challenging and enjoyable solitaire experience with a classic 1950s science fiction theme, where the aliens have unique and chaotic capabilities. The aliens in Dimension X, the Chaots, and the space vermin, the Vermites, were controlled by the drawn event Chits, and the Marines encountered and had to defeat numerous opponents. The primary difference in Colossi is that there are a small number of very powerful aliens whose abilities are constantly changing, while the event Chits may improve or impede the abilities of the Marines, the Colossi, or both. So again, this is really interesting because that's a very different take on the game. The most difficult design goal was providing unique encounters while maintaining the overriding totally random chaos system, where the best laid plans can fall apart at exactly the moment you think things are under control. Two other design elements were integral to differentiating the Colossi battles from the previous games. First, the terrain is sparse, and we'll take a look at the map in a second, providing little or no cover for the Marines. Second, the Colossi AI is driven by the tribe's individual special abilities, combining close combat, ranged combat, and special moves. The three scenarios provided in the game are very challenging. Finding ways to defeat the colossal opponents will take several games, as the Colossi have a variety of moves and combat abilities. It will be a hard road to achieve that elusive, decisive victory. A special thanks goes to Colby Dirk, who carried the ball on this design for the biggest part. I came up with the general theme of the game, big rock monster aliens, and Colby really honed the details of how the tribes would operate, their culture, what special units the game would have, and the general idea of what the scenarios would simulate. I can't thank him enough for all the hard work he put into this project. Good gaming, Herman. I'm really looking forward to this, like I said. And last but by no means least, we're going to take a look at the map, and I can't really show it. Well, maybe I can actually. Oh, it's not that big. It's a lot. Well, I don't know if it's smaller than the other one, because the other one was obviously printed off and there may have been some distortion. But here you have a turn marker, which is different. We didn't have a turn marker in the other game. And you have the phases and steps. You have the terrain effects down here. So clear and what is the movement point allowance. So the Colossi always just have one movement point and they can go everywhere. Whereas there is the hills, which are no-go zones for the Marines. You have the direction indicator and sequence of play, draw event, chit phase, 4.0, marine phase, 5.0, recovery step, schedule, reinforcement step, action step, aura of our ancestors phase, Colossi action phase, end phase. What is missing here are the actual die roll modifiers and results, which was something that I really liked. Oh yeah, and it's two-sided, so the map is two-sided, which I really liked about the other one. So basically, it actually told you if you roll on this, if you roll for reinforcements, or if you use the flight pack, the jet pack, whatever it's called, you roll and then what is the result, blah, blah, blah. But maybe this is different. Oh no, you have them in the book. Let's just hope that they are in here as well. Jump pack move, bomber combat results. The boring bit combat results. Okay, yeah. Okay, so you have basically all of these, but this time they're not printed on the map, but they're on this sheet. So I'll have to photocopy this because obviously otherwise I would have to turn it over all the time, which is kind of boring. So I don't know when I will get to play this because I'm now back into another game which has been on hiatus for me for a very long time, and it's the now renamed Middle-earth strategy battle game by Games Workshop. So over the last couple of weeks I have gone back into painting. I've also built some terrain. I made my first swamp with water. Well, obviously, you know, like terrain water, not real water, obviously. And I've been back into playing this game. I also got a new book for it, the Middle-earth Battle Company's book, which I'm also going to do a review of. So I just wanted to do an unboxing because this game has been sitting on my dining room table for about 4 weeks or so. I ordered it off their website, and delivery into Ireland from the United States was about 7 days. It was really quick. And it came in a really nice thick envelope. It said do not bend, and of course they didn't bend it, and it arrived in perfect shape. So kudos to Tiny Battles, they really, their fulfillment group is excellent. So that's to come. I wish you all a pleasant evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.